outskirts of the abandoned church, deep in the woods, stood an old church, one whose name no one dared to speak aloud. Legends whispered that the church was cursed, its dark history passed down in hushed tones over generations. Years ago, a sinister ritual conducted there had plunged the entire village into eerie silence. From that day onward, no one could say for sure if the church bell ever tolled by human hands. This story intrigued a group of our friends who prided themselves on their courage. Fascinated by the paranormal, they decided to spend the night inside the church, determined to document whatever happened at the stroke of midnight. None of them, however, realized that they were about to step into a living nightmare. At midnight, armed with flashlights, they reached the church. The air was thick with dampness, carrying the stench of rotting wood. The wooden cross on the weathered door had warped over time, leaning crookedly. Matt, the group's self-proclaimed leader, pushed the door open slowly. A deep creak echoed through the dark interior. Once inside, the atmosphere shifted immediately. Chandeliers, ancient and rusted, hung precariously from the high ceiling, emitting metallic groans with every gust of wind. The stone walls bore faint traces of old frescoes, but the faces of the figures had been scratched away. Suddenly, Emily whispered, "Something ... is watching us." Everyone froze, listening intently. Then, from the back of the church, they heard the unmistakable creak of a door opening. They exchanged uneasy glances and pulled out their phones to record the moment. But as soon as they hit the record buttons, every device shut off simultaneously. Matt took a deep breath and tried to calm the group. "It's probably just an electrical interference," he said. "That's common in paranormal events." His attempt at a rational explanation did little to ease the growing tension. As they ventured deeper into the church, they found themselves beneath the towering bell tower. Their attention was drawn upward when, suddenly, the bell began to swing on its own, producing a low, thunderous toll. Emily screamed and tried to run back, but stopped abruptly. "Look," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Everyone turned to see something peering out through the stained glass window near the bell tower. But its gaze wasn't human. Its eyes were sharp and glowed an intense, piercing red. Matt shone his flashlight toward the window, but the shadow vanished instantly. At that moment, a deep, resonant voice filled the church, reverberating through the walls. "Those who disturb me will pay the price." Panicked, the group rushed toward the exit. But the door slammed shut with a force as if held by an invisible power. A cold mist began to envelop the interior of the church. Emily felt a skeletal hand reaching for her from within the fog and collapsed to the ground. Matt tried desperately to rally the group, but the wails emanating from the church walls drowned out his voice. One by one, the friends disappeared into the silence. When morning came, villagers found a chilling sight at the church's entrance. Blood-red message scrawled across the door, awaiting new visitors ...